dear friends, Fenix 8 now with me for about 3 months, and this is a watch which generated a lot of controversy right after its release. First, because of the high price, and second, because of the rather large number of potential software bugs found in this watch. This video not will be such a typical review. This video will be mainly focused on my feelings, will be about what I like and what I like less. Of course, I will also come back to some of the features on the Fenix 8, but this will be not, as I said, such a typical review. We start with the appearance, and here I must say that I do appreciate it that in the Fenix 8 the bezel is so much softer. It isn't as bulky as it was in the epixpro. However, is this some kind of drastic change? Not really. After using this watch for a while, I don't actually notice it anymore. I also appreciate that in my Fenix 8 the screen has grown in this 43mm version. Now we have 1.3 inches, previously it was 1.2 inches, and this is a really big change for me. What follows it, that I also appreciate the battery. Okay, most of you will say 4 days in always on display mode is not enough. And of course I agree. Compared to Fenix 47mm or 51mm, these are ridiculous results. But of course, if you turn off always on display, this battery life will automatically increase. I'm happy with the fact that even though this screen has grown in my Fenix 8, the battery is the same as it was in my epixpro. What else is worth paying attention to are buttons. And I have a bit of hard time getting used to them because of the haptic signal we get with these buttons. They are not physical buttons, they are inductive, and this is a good change because in the case of people like me who swim a lot in the sea in the summer, in salt sea, we don't have holes in the case here now, so at the same time we don't have gaskets that tend to degrade after some time. The buttons should be more durable and appreciated, although I catch myself that sometimes wanting to activate the certain function, I sometimes have to do it, for example, twice because I did it too lightly. But when you get used to it, I think you shouldn't have problems accepting these buttons. And now we come to the software, the interface of this watch. The interface is different in the sense that it's more colorful, maybe a little more flashy, like what we have in Forerunner 965. What I had on my epixpro appealed to me more. The interface there was more toned down and I liked it better. Of course, after a while you stop noticing it. It becomes natural when using this watch. I also got used to the fact that the menu has also changed a bit. We now have a new focus mode like sleep activity, and certain settings are now in a little bit different places when it comes to the Fenix 8. But you also really get to used to that. The good change for me is that now this interface is smoother than in my epixpro. Now I will get to what I like first. I like the fact that we now have a choice of size of text we want to use on the watch. Of course, we will use it the first time, then we don't go back to it. But it's nice that such a thing has been included in this watch. In addition, I like the new interface for setting the watch face. Everything is now in one place. We have a lot of colors, until I was surprised that we can use so many colors to set the watch face for ourselves. At the same time, I like the up menu when we press the top right button. In addition, I like the countdown widget. You enter an event that is important to you, and at the moment the watch counts down to that important event. One more thing that I think is very helpful is in case of activity, now the screen locks when you touch it. Of course, this can be turned off. And there is one thing that needs to be set. Anyway, the forums are rumblings about the fact that there are a bunch of bugs in Fenix 8. Currently, my watch is running on software 12.35. During the follow updates, Garmin fixed a lot of numbers of potential bugs. Update 12.22 introduced 130 changes, of which more than 79 were bug fixes. So we can imagine what quantities of even single bugs Garmin simply fixes, and this is not the first update. As for what happened to me, I have set no notifications from the app during activity. I have only set notifications from message and incoming calls. But all the time, notifications from Telegram come to me. All the time. In general, even when the watch displays these notifications, they pop up very much like message notifications. So I don't know if Garmin just confuses it. In addition, the watch has reset 3 times over 3 months. The first time it reset when I tried to start a conversation from the watch, and twice when I finished an activity. When saving the activity, the first time the watch simply started resetting when I clicked save, went to the home screen, and that was it. In the second time, it was the case that the watch, after I press save, keep looping save, 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 and then went for the probably 2 minutes until I finally decided to force a reset of this watch. Fortunately, in both of these cases, the activity was saved. But I don't think so. I need to tell you, the moment this watch reset, how annoyed I was at that moment, because we are also not sure if the activity will be saved. I guess the worst situations will be if the watch reset during activity. Still, I must also say that I have used Garmin for a long time. I used Garmin Venu, Fenix 7S Sapphire Solar, epixpro for under 965, the epixpro for over a year, and none of these watches have reset for me. Of course, I have heard from my friends that this sometimes happened, but in my case, none of the watches, none of these Garmins before the Fenix 8 reset themselves. Now I wanted to move on to what's new in this Fenix 8 and tell you if I just use it over time. Because the new thing now is the speaker and microphone, and the painful truth is that if it's not quiet, you won't hear much.
Hello?
Okay, how do you hear me?
I hear quite okay.
Okay, but
It's cracking a lot.
cracking now is a wind, but it's not strong. Maybe a little.
Yes, but the noise cancelling is kicking in, and actually I heard a lot of the bumps.
So you hear the background, yes? When I say it.
Yes, when you start saying then that's not always it starts.
Okay. So it's like sometimes like ANC working in headphones, yes? Something like that?
Something like that.
Okay, and now the car passing. Do you?
I think that you have that blowing into the mic directly, the wind, so that's why interrupting your voice quite frequently.
Okay, I have to admit that I didn't hear you good, especially when the car's passing. So. Okay. Thank you. Bye. And now, how do you hear me?
Better, there is no interruptions right now.
Okay, because now it's quiet.
Tell me about the phone.
So in this environment is okay. You hear me good, and there is no interruptions.
Yes, there is no interruptions, but comparing to other phones, the sound feels compressed. It's like I go.
So I'm not sounding like me, yes?
Sometimes it's higher pitch, sometimes it's lower. I don't know why the difference is, but the phone different your face.
Okay. I had situations like this while running. For example, my husband called me and I answered the call on my watch. But cars were passing by, it was louder, and I will be honest, it wasn't the best quality of calls, so I didn't use it often. Anyway, in that situations, I switched that call from the watch to the phone, because you can do that. When the call is in progress, you can either talk on the watch or you can switch it to the phone. I also had headphones connected to the phone, and when I switched the conversation just from the watch to the phone, in the hope that it would be redirected to my headphones, unfortunately nothing like that happened. And it was just that I had to manually on the phone switch the call to the headphones. So now I don't know if it's a bug related to my phone or it's some other bug we have in Garmin. Anyway, when I have headphones connected to the watch on Bluetooth, answering a call then doesn't automatically redirect the call to the headphones, even though they are connected to the watch. So I'm not a fan of this solution. Simply this microphone and speaker are not the best quality. Now we also have the ability to control the phone assistant from the watch. I practically don't use it at all, but I believe that there are people who use it more often. I already use the voice commands built into the watch more often. Of course, these commands have to be spoken in English. I don't use it often either. I use it more for something that requires some kind of longer clicking on the watch, like sometimes some activity that I don't use on a daily basis, like setting some kind of countdown because I'm cooking and etc. Another thing that it shows such cooler things, or at least would be one of the cooler things, is voice notes. The problem, however, is that these notes play it on the watch very quiet. The sample voice note recorded with Fenix 8. Let's see how it we heard on the watch. The sample voice note recorded with Fenix 8. Let's see how it we heard on the watch. In addition, these voice notes, at least I haven't noticed that they save somewhere in Garmin Connect. So they are only on the watch, which is also a limitation of the functionality. They should be accessible from the phone, in my opinion. Another thing is that if you play music on the watch that you have uploaded, that music plays significantly louder than those voice notes played on the watch. So now there's a question, is it another bug or is it just the way it is in Garmin? And now the question of workouts. These are the same sensors we had in the epixpro or Fenix 7 Pro, and here I'm very satisfied in terms of how this heart rate sensor performs and how this GPS performs. Then again, I had no objections with the epixpro either. The only thing that annoys me is that in the expensive watch like Garmin Fenix 8, we still don't have Nordic walking. Of course, I know that some of you will immediately write me here that we can edit this activity for ourselves. And yes, I know, and I edit it, but it would be nice to such a popular activity will be in such an expensive watch. Now I would like to return to the topic of maps. Garmin's have probably the most advanced maps. They are available in the watches. Of course, Suunto, Polar are chasing Garmin, but still Garmin has these maps at the highest level. We have new features in these maps. We have all roads, point, courses in one place. And now we have something like dynamic routing in both directions. This is called round trip course in the watch, if I remember it correctly. And it's a pretty cool option because when we don't know area, the watch will set us 3 suggested courses in a specific directions or in any direction for a given number of kilometers. But it happened to me while setting these courses, when I asked the watch to make me a route of 6 kilometers, for example, the first course showed 5.9 kilometers, but the second course showed 260 meters. It happened that Fenix just miscalculated the route. Lately, it doesn't happen to me. Now, almost all time, all 3 courses are set well. Another thing is that while in the case of running, I have notifications about, for example, an upcoming turn, both on the headphones and on the watch I have vibrations, but in the case of this round trip course, I don't have these notifications. I have only all the time show an arrow that, for example, there is a turn in 200 meters, and of course a countdown that is decreasing this distance. But I don't have, in any case, notifications, neither vibrations or information on the headphones. And it happened to me more than once that I missed a turn. The advantage is that the watch informs us that the road is changing, but it also takes time to determine this road of the next after my change of direction. So I was often already a lot further away, and the watch only informed me about it after some time. All in all, my 3 months with the Fenix 8 were bittersweet, because on the one hand, it is a sporty combo and a very versatile watch, and you can then it, but on the other hand, the number of bugs that appeared somewhere in the very beginning simply spoiled the impressions of using this watch. Also, we have to remember that despite some kind of novelty, it is largely a bit like epixpro or Fenix 7 Pro, because, okay, we have, for example, a flashlight, which I also use very often, but it was in the epixpro. We have a multitude of sports indicators, but they were in the epixpro. We have a heart rate sensor, the same one that was in the epixpro. And we have maps, of course, with some innovations there, but most of these advanced features in the epixpro were there. So who is the Fenix 8 for? I think in part the Fenix 8 will be for people who care about diving features, for recreational diving, because the Fenix 8 has some of the features we know from Garmin dive computers. We have the possibility to dive with aqualung, we have the possibility of free diving, and in general we can go down to depth of 40 meters with the Fenix 8. In the case of such a typical Garmin dive watch, the distance series is more than 200 meters, so it's not identical. Of course, we have some things related to diving that certain people will be happy with. We have these more durable buttons, at least in theory more durable buttons, which may also attract some users. And we have just those smart features that now appeared, microphone and speaker. But is it worth such an extra charge? That's something you will have to answer for yourself. Now also in Fenix 8 we have strength training in Garmin Coach, but I don't know if that won't show up as well, for example, in the epixpro or Fenix 7 Pro. The Fenix 8 is definitely one of the best sport watches, but it seems to me that there has been a little too much focus on the smart features, but probably not the kind of features that we, the consumers, really wanted. Because where is the eSIM? It seems to me that if there had been an eSIM instead of just a microphone and speaker, that would have made a lot more sense, and a lot of people would have paid extra for the feature. Where is any change to this archaic charging? We continue to have the all outdated Garmin charging. It seems to me that Garmin should be more concerned with developing sport features or just going into such eSIM related things. If I knew what I know now about Fenix 8 and had the epixpro earlier and didn't sell it early before I bought the Fenix 8, I wouldn't have bought the Fenix 8. It seems to me that it doesn't make the slightest sense. The Garmin Epix Pro and Fenix 7 Pro, these are two very good watches, and they don't differ much from what we have in Fenix 8. If these changes that Fenix 8 has made are not necessary for you, then Epix Pro or Fenix 7 Pro is a very good choice. I already thank you very much for this video. The comment section is yours. Feel free to share some of the impressions here, and I invite you to my next videos. See you.